Anthony Richardson, Russell Wilson, Skylar Thompson, Marcus Mariota, Brian Robinson Jr., Damian Pierce, Pierre Strong Jr., Rasheen Ali, KJ Osborne, Robert Woods, DeAndre Carter, Jacob Cowing, Deontay Hardy, Tyreek McAllister, Jalen Coker, Kendrick Bourne, Odell Beckham Jr., George Kittle, Evan Ingram, David Njoku, Luke Musgrave, Ian Thomas, Matt Prater, questionable. Devin Singletary, Romeo Doubs, Christian Watson, Chris Conley, doubtful. Jonathan Taylor, Joe Mixon, Jalen Warren, Zamir White, Cordero Patterson, Tyler Bidet, Nick Chubb, Naeem Hines, Malik Neighbors, Devontae Adams, Cooper Kupp, Khalil Shakir, Brandon Cooks, Noah Brown, Michael Mayer, Michael Pruitt, TJ Hawkinson, out. And that's all we know for now.
That's it, eh? That seemed like a shorter list than last year, even though it seemed pretty light. That was only about a minute long. I think last year we hit up about a minute 5. But we're only but by week 10 we were up to where it's like half our show was just rattling off names. Oh, bigz.
Welcome to the Fantasy Forecast Injuryocalypse episode with our guest, Dr. Schultzy.
Hello, thank you for having me. I have my PhD in bullshit.
Our regular physio, Marcus Gailey, who is he's on assignment. He's getting hitched.
Yeah, buddy. Congratulations.
Yeah, I mean, you gotta give him that. That's a solid excuse.
Congrats, Marcus. Hope you have a great wedding weekend, and all the best to you and your newlywed there. Let's go.
Hell yeah, get it.
Yeah, so we got a slew of injuries to get through here, guys, and it starts with the New York Jets and the Minnesota Vikings. They had an early game on Sunday in London. Aaron Rodgers is good to go after being limited earlier in the week. Breece Hall remains a solid play despite the team's injury woes at their offensive line. TJ Hawkinson is going to be out again, but his absence could elevate the increased targets again for Jordan Addison, who looked pretty good last week. This situation in New York, what's your guys' thoughts on this game overseas? Bigz, I'll start with you about the injuries. Not much to report here in that game, but as far as Aaron Rodgers goes, what's your thoughts on him headed into this game?
He's fine. He's Aaron Rodgers. He'll do Aaron Rodgers things. On the Minnesota side, don't forget about Jalen Naylor. I mean, his role is with Jordan Addison back, but he's still got a little bit of upside.
Yeah, what do you think about the travel in that game? Do you think, I mean, we're talking about the injury show, but do you think some fatigue might have something into play in this game? I know that, these games tend to be a little bit sloppy overseas. What's your first impression on that?
They are the hardest games to handicap just because the jet lag, the travel time, all that stuff, it becomes a short week because they have to start traveling before they get there. It's terrible for the teams involved. The only solution is to have teams that are actually like over there already, teams in England, and it would be the International Football League or something. But like just the travel, unless they have a bye week before, let them play their London game after a bye week. You know what I mean? Schedule it properly because it wrecks the players. They don't know. Like it's hard for normal people who are just like going on a tourist trip or a business meeting to deal with travel like that. Let alone, when you have Minnesota is not very close to England. New York's a little bit closer, but you've had like California teams have to go out there. It's a trek and it ruins handicapping for us. We don't know how to look at it. So,
as the resident Jaguars fan, I've always got a Jaguars take on things. But with London, and they play there every year, teams need to just take a page from their playbook on how they deal with travel. If I remember correctly, I think they leave Sunday night after the game and then they're just there all week, or they leave Monday morning. Like regardless, they leave like very, very early in the week. And then like last year, the Bills chose to leave, I think, Thursday or Friday. Yeah. And the Jags waxed them. I mean, it was still a pretty good game. The Bills are way better. It shouldn't have been like that close, but you could see the physicality in it that the Jags like were way less affected.
Yeah, and it's like a home game for them. Yeah, it's tough. I hate those, but I don't mind getting up early and watching a game.
No.
Yeah, it benefits the fans, I guess, but it doesn't benefit the league or the players in any way here, I think.
When football games start here at 6:30, when football games on the West Coast start at 6:30 in the morning and end at 8:15 at night, it's fantastic. I love it.
Yeah, it's great. All right, let's move on to the Bears and Panthers. Deontay Johnson, he's cleared to play after that ankle injury. I wasn't too concerned about that. Khalil Shakir, he's active. Khalil Herbert. My apologies. Doesn't look like he's going to be a factor anyway with the big game that DeAndre Swift had, but also we're seeing an emergence here of Roschon Johnson. Biggs had that pegged. Anything to add to that one, guys?
No, I feel like we have a little injury PTSD when we because so many guys are out and because the entire league is just being racked by injuries. When we see a questionable tag on somebody, we tend to Chicken Little it. And so, some guy has some hamstring tightness after their Sunday game, which normally would be fine and normal. And then all of a sudden we're like, oh God, Deontay Johnson is questionable. Is he even going to play? And it's it's just.
Here's a random question. How does every single year when the season is over, so the NFL is super strict about the injury reporting and stuff, right? How does it every single year? It'll be like March, and a player will be like, "Oh yeah, I played 3/4 of the season." Like last year was on Ryan. He's like, "I played most of the season with a oblique ripped off the bone."
Yeah.
How do we not know that?
Teams are pretty uptight about what they report, obviously, and and the fact that it didn't affect them on the field much. That's crazy.
Right.
Still finished with crazy numbers. Right, the Ravens and the Bengals, not much to report in this game. I think this game could have the makings of a very high-scoring game, some good matchups there. What do you guys see about this game? Do you want to touch base on it at all? Is there anything that you want to add to this? Gus Edwards, he was a little banged up, but it looks like he's going to play, no problem. What are your thoughts on this game, guys?
You mean Justice Hill?
Plays for the Chargers.
Yeah, Justice Hill. Sorry, Justice Hill. My bad.
No, nothing.
Yes, I don't really think. I mean, Justice Hill, he's like a dude who might find a way into your flex because you're in a real pinch. So, I don't know. Yeah, there's nothing here that's super impactful.
Yeah. Okay, the Dolphins and the Patriots, Raheem Mostert, it looks like he's going to play. I got an alert about half an hour ago on my phone stating that he's good to go. Odell Beckham still not, he's participating in practice, but he hasn't played yet. Kendrick Bourne limited, but the real story here is, I guess, Raheem Mostert. I mean, not looking good for the Dolphins in general, but what do you guys think about the addition there? Is that a good thing for that offense, or, we're just not optimistic at all about the Dolphins headed into this week?
I don't know. How well does he throw the ball?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he doesn't throw the ball at all.
Oh, well then, not much. Yeah, go Raheem. Get out there. Mostly hurt.
Fair.
Love it.
Nick Chubb, his practice window's opened. Looks like he's getting some work in practice now. That's some good optimism here, but he's still out, leaving Jerome Ford as the key option. David Njoku, questionable. And then Brian Robinson is looking like a game time decision. So some injuries to talk about here. David Njoku coming back would be a good addition to this, Browns offense that is looking pretty anemic right now. Deshaun Watson has not looked good, and David Njoku had a good first game with them. So what are you guys' thoughts on Njoku potentially coming back here?
I like it. I feel like that wasn't the problem. Deshaun Watson is the problem. But yeah, Njoku and Watson have a good relationship. Jerome Ford is gonna do Jerome Ford things. Make sure that you're grabbing Jeremy McNichols wherever you can if you're Brian Robinson owners, just in case. And then he's an easy drop if Brian Robinson plays, because Brian Robinson has, I believe, a good matchup this week. So.
Yeah, and Eckler looks like he's suiting up as well. I'm not sure that's going to make a big difference either, but Brian Robinson is the injury there that we really got to look at, because, yeah, that matchup looks good. And McNichols, 2 touchdowns last week. He was a darling on the waiver wire ads near the end of the week after we heard that Brian Robinson wasn't practicing. So, yeah, that's a good indicator. Schultz, you got anything to add about that matchup at all?
I would say I have some reservations about Njoku only because it was a high ankle sprain, and I don't have data to back this up, so grain of salt on this one, everyone. But like, I remember Kenneth Walker last year had the high ankle sprain, and like there's a ton of dudes who have had that high ankle sprain specifically that like lingers really bad, and you can see. Oh, Eckler, I believe, had one, and that he looked like he ran through quicksand. Like, that high ankle lasts, and it really impacts people. And I wish Marcus was here to ask him about that.
It's okay, folks. He's a doctor.
That's true. I am.
Dr. Schultzy kind of feels like a foot doctor. No?
I'm not the foot guy. I'm not into feet stuff. But hey, if you want to go to a website where there's really cool stuff about fantasy football, check this out.
We are here. FantasySportsAdvice.com, offering the best fantasy sports social media platform. Why join endless Discord communities or the trolls of Reddit? Fantasy Sports Advice is a community designed to help you win with 24/7 support. Go to FantasySportsAdvice.com and become a pro member for unlimited access. Again, go to FantasySportsAdvice.com today.
Yes.
I'll go there.
I'll go there. I'm there. I hang out every day there. It's a lot of fun. Get your questions answered. A lot of places to hang out and just, shoot the shit over fantasy football. It's a good time. Now, moving on to the Jaguars there, Schultzy. Travis Etienne is expected to play, but also Evan Ingram is likely to return after missing, a couple games there. So I'll start with you, Schultzy, on Evan Ingram. He's been missing in Trevor Lawrence. Do you think he's the key to bringing Trevor, out of the dead here?
Yes and no. I feel good about the offense, the Jags offense, putting up some numbers here just because of the matchup. So like, who's to say if Ingram's really, the key cog in that result? But it's definitely going to help. They've really struggled this year without him, with like the quick gimme, like the easy completions, which last year was like a big thing for this offense. Like even tight end screens to him. Just getting him the ball really quick, letting him work in some space, because he's really fast. So, hitting him horizontally on like some mesh routes and stuff. They did a really good job with Ingram of giving him the ball and letting him work, and he was kind of a fail-safe for him. And Brendan Strange just doesn't bring that, and they've really missed it. So, yeah, I do think it's going to matter a lot.
Yeah. Okay. Biggs, what do you think about the Evan Ingram? I know you got him as a starter of the week here. You're not worried about that hamstring acting up at all in this game, or them easing him into action?
No. I guess. Now I'm worried. Thanks, Mike. I was totally fine and confident until now. I'm questioning everything. I feel like if they really thought that there was a risk of him re-injuring it and having that be like a catastrophic re-injuring, they wouldn't have him out there. So I think that is what led to the soft practices this week and changing his designation. So yeah, he's a must start.
Yeah.
Especially, the investment that we all put into him. He's got to be in your lineups, and injuries be damned.
Yeah.
So even if he's not 100%, like he's still going to command 6-7 plus targets, like at a minimum.
He better listen here, Evan. He better.
So there's it looks like that Anthony Richardson is on target to play this week, but we know that Jonathan Taylor is now been ruled out. That's a devastating blow for, he was one running back that was producing, and gonna miss him for at least a week here. There's some rumors of it being longer term. What's your guys' thoughts on this? It's not a good situation there for Jonathan Taylor, and we know that we're not very high on Trey Sermon, but what's the alternative there?
It really sunk my Alec Pierce shares.
Yeah, it's definitely gonna it's gonna close up the long pass there, because they're not going to be able to have that play action as well.
I was really looking forward to Joe Flacco because he's the one in that offense that can complete a bunch of passes. So
I think like
Michael Pittman, downgrade Josh Downs, downgrade Alec Pierce.
I think it's kind of funny because it's like if Jonathan Taylor was playing, as a Colts fan, you would want AR to play. But I think without him, you're right. I think you'd probably be better off Flacco.
Yeah, unless it turns into Anthony Richardson running the ball a lot. But they hadn't really been doing that. They kind of nerfed his rush attempts, his designed runs, which Shane Steichen said he wasn't going to do.
He still got hurt.
Yeah.
Looks like Khalil Shakir is going to be out for the Bills, and Dameon Pierce is trending towards playing. Same with Joe Mixon. I might have got an alert. I haven't got the most recent update on Mixon, but if last I heard he was en route to playing. So that's good news for the Houston Texans this week. Khalil Shakir, that's a little bit of a dagger there. He was starting to get some steam there. Biggs, you want to talk about that at all? You want to add to that at all?
No.
Okay. All right. Let's keep going. All right. Let's move on to the Raiders and Broncos, because there's some stuff to talk about here. Devontae Adams isn't playing, and then Zamir White is out with the groin as well. You break that down for us, Biggs. It's not looking good probably for the Raiders wide receivers in this one. And what's the solution? Are we playing? Is Dylan Lobby maybe going to get a little bit of sniff here?
Maybe more in the punt return and kickoff return game. I feel like it's going to be Alexander Mattison and Amir Abdullah. Lobby had a fumble a couple weeks ago. I don't think that they're 100% confident in handing him the keys. But Antonio Pierce was saying that Alexander Mattison is going to get more of a run. So I believe he's going to be the focus of the running game this week, and we'll see what happens. He doesn't have a reputation as the most efficient running back, and they're playing a pretty stiff Denver Broncos team that pretty much shut down Breece Lawn. Not looking good for the Raiders.
Yeah, it's tough sledding. Like we said on the Pulse yesterday, we just need to see Aiden O'Connell. Just want to see what he can do in that offense, and I'm sure he's not far off of getting a chance here. Okay, let's move on to the Cardinals and 49ers. Just looks like... Sorry, go on.
I will say, you said he might be close to getting a chance. The fact that in the last 4 years, Denver is 0-8 against the Las Vegas Raiders. If Gardner Minshew goes out and doesn't keep that streak alive, I feel like we see Aiden O'Connell next week. This is a must win for Gardner Minshew. Period.
Okay. Well, So what's your hope then? Do you want to see them lose, or do you want to see them? Well, you obviously want to see them win, but you're almost at a catch-22 as a Raider fan.
No, I want to eat my cake and have it too. I want the game. I want us to win, without rooting for a Gardner Minshew injury, and also for Aiden O'Connell to take over in Week 6.
All right, there it is.
Hey, okay, you know what? You did just get your cake, so.
And you got to eat it. All right, so we got the Cardinals, 49ers, a couple of tight ends with some questionable tags, but it looks like McBride is going to be back. He's going to, help boost that passing attack. George Kittle, he looked questionable, but it looks like he's going to play. So you want to add anything about that game, guys, at all?
No, for once the 49ers don't have a shopping list injury report.
Yeah.
It's just one item. Yeah, and Brock Purdy is third in the NFL in EPA per dropback so far this year. We kind of knew that going in. He was second in fantasy points per dropback last year, so he's right on track. And having George Kittle out there only helps. And then Trey McBride, thank goodness he's back.
Well, hopefully he makes an impact. He started to play a little bit better in his last game, but it still looks pretty glim in the tight end landscape here. So we got a game here, the Rams and the Packers. Christian Watson is out. Good news for Dontavian Wicks. Romeo Doubs looks like he is going to be out as well, or he's got a questionable tag here. We know Cooper Kupp and Puka Nacua, they're gone. So this is a up in the air game. We know that the Packers are going to have a pretty easy time, in my opinion, at this one. So how is this game going to shake out? We know Schultzy has Josh Jacobs as one of his starts of the week. Pretty fair that they're going to lean on the run this week.
I would hope so, man. On one, I think they're going to win. So, I mean, you would think they're going to be grinding that clock out. And, yeah, the Rams' run defense is just pathetic. They've given up the most yards in the league. And, yeah, I think they're going to fire it up with Josh Jacobs. Probably score some points through the air and grind this one out.
Yeah, it is looking very, very glim for the Rams, and the fact that Christian Watson is not playing for the Packers doesn't make much of an impact because Jaden Reed and
Wicks
will be out there, so they'll be fine.
And Tucker Kraft too, who's emerging as well. So they're just fine. Now Malik
Tucker Kraft has been emerged. He came out last year. Absolutely. And some of us are happy that he did and have got some shares of him after the waiver wire 2 weeks ago. So looking good heading into this stretch here. Now, Malik Neighbors is out with that concussion. That was a tough one to swallow after such a great start. Singletary, his status is still up in the air, looking like a nice game headed for Tyrone Tracy. Kenneth Walker, he's coming off a 3-touchdown game. He was limited in practice, obviously. He's looking like he's ready to go and set up for another smash game here against the Giants. What's your opinion about this game? Is the Giants are going to have a hard time keeping up here, and I think it's going to be tough sledding for them. Yeah, and one thing that we know about Seattle is that they're not afraid to score points, so they're probably not going to let up at all. Giants are going to be hard pressed to find anything working. It's not going to be hard to kind of focus the Seattle defense on two guys. Let Daniel Jones beat you, and it's not looking good for New York this week.
Yeah. Okay, so let's move on to the Cowboys and Steelers in a pretty gritty matchup this might be here. With Brandon Cooks out, CeeDee Lamb coming in, looking like he's going to be the main guy again. He's coming off a decent game, and it's looking like this could be the game that Justin Fields continues to build off his momentum. This is a game that is could potentially the Steelers be working a little bit behind or in the close game. So I think they're going to need to throw the ball a bit. And with Jalen Warren out, making Najee Harris, the Najee show with a little bit of sprinkle of Cordell Patterson like we saw last week, I think. What are your thoughts on this game, this matchup? And are you guys high on Justin Fields?
Patterson is banged up. I'm certainly not taking the touchdown over on Najee Harris this week.
No.
I'm very shocked that Justin Fields has wrested that job away from Russell Wilson. Who knew that Arthur Smith was the key to unlocking Justin Fields? But yeah, it's going to be one of those games that the Steelers kind of like bring down. They definitely bring the level of their opponent's play down to their level that they want to play. They control the game like that. And I feel like they're going to be able to handle Dak Prescott and CeeDee Lamb. But Jalen Tolbert, make sure you keep an eye on him.
Yeah, agreed, because Brandon Cooks is out, and he struggled to carve out a role. Now it's his time. It's now or never, right? I mean, if he can't do it now, well, you got a couple guys out. It's time. So I agree with that. The Saints and the Chiefs, the Monday night game. Alvin Kamara is a little banged up. He's expected to play. Same with Taysom Hill. Like, we're gonna have to monitor that situation. Looking
Taysom
like, is he out? Okay. Okay, so he's 1 to 3 weeks. Okay, so he's got the broken ribs. So he's out for sure. Now, looking like Kendre Miller is coming back to practice. bigz, you had him pegged as a guy you wanted to pick up on your waiver wire this week because of that practice window opening. Reports say he's looking pretty good. Could be an addition to that lineup too. That they run the ball quite a bit, so there's going to be work for all those guys in there, and I think reinforcements there. So your spidey senses were really strong last week. So hopefully we could see this Kendre Miller emerge a little bit now as well. So get them on your benches. Anything else to add about that one there, bigz?
Just stash them. I think they're gonna like play out the entire window. I can't say that for a fact, but if I would do that if I had somebody who was coming back from like long-term injury problems and stuff. I would take as long as possible. Yes, he's practicing, and that's great. Perfect stash. Go get Kendre Miller if you can, and he will be a league winner.
Yeah, and then the Chiefs, we know that Rashee Rice is on the IR. Not sure if it's season ending. It's looking like that, though. Horrible news for the Chiefs, with Pacheco also out. Clyde Edwards-Helaire might be returning in the next little while here, which could bring some reinforcements. And, Kareem Hunt has stepped into some work as well. So be interesting to see how the Chiefs play this game on Monday night here because they're banged up and they're playing a good team in the Saints. So I'm interested to see how that game shakes out. All right, folks.
Yeah. Nobody cares about the Chiefs.
And so that's fair.
Here either.
Yeah. Fair enough. All right, guys. Another week, another great week of content, boys. Let's keep it up. Let's start winning some divisions, winning some leagues now. This is where, after the first quarter of the season hits, is when we can really separate ourselves and crush those teams at the bottom. So make those moves now and continue to crush. What else you got for us, bigz?
Hey, join me on Sunday morning for my Starts and Sits show at 8 a.m. Pacific, 11 a.m. Eastern. And make sure that Alan Lazard is in your lineup before you start asking me questions at 8 a.m. And I'll see you there. Breakfast with bigz.
Breakfast with bigz. There you have it. All right, guys and girls. We have a good weekend of football, and we hope you win.
Hope you win.